In the quiet, sacred land of Omokporu, where the air smells of clay and incense, a child was born under a troubled sky. His mother, a woman of great peace, gave her last breath to bring him into the world. And when he opened his eyes, they saw nothing. From the moment of his birth, the villagers whispered, "A blind child." In a land ruled by spirits and signs. They called it a curse. His father, a man named Okeke, wept bitterly. But not for his wife, for his own shame. Okeke remarried quickly. A younger, proud woman named Kem became the boy's stepmother. She was beautiful, but her heart was cold. She looked at the child with disgust, refusing to touch him. She saw his blindness not as a challenge, but as an insult from the gods. As years passed, the boy grew. His name was Muna. He did not cry, even when hungry. He would sit beneath the mango tree, head tilted gently toward the wind, as though listening to something others could not hear. But cruelty runs deep in the heart of bitterness. Ken made him sweep without sight, eat after dogs, sleep outside when it rained. And his father, always chasing palm wine and the praise of village elders, said nothing. One rainy night, while the moon hid behind the clouds, Kem did the unthinkable. She led Muna deep into the forest, beyond the farms, beyond the hunters' paths, to the place the villagers feared most, the forbidden shrine of Ero. There, under a sacred tree marked with the symbols of old gods, she left him. But the spirits do not sleep. That same night, the priestess of Omokporu, a woman named Ijeoma, was stirred from her sleep by a dream. In her vision, a child sat under a glowing tree. A child with no sight, but pure light in his spirit. She followed the signs, the wind, the voice of the river. And there, in the misty silence of the forest, she found him. Alone. But not afraid. From that moment, their lives were bound. She took him in, wrapped him in the cloth of protection, and hid him in her sacred shrine. No one in the village knew the blind boy had survived. Under her care, Muna flourished. He listened to chants. He touched harps. He learned the language of silence. And though his eyes remained shut, something else began to open. Visions. He would speak of things he had never seen. He would name visitors before they entered. He knew when the wind would change, and when the earth beneath their feet was angry. As the seasons turned, the village suffered. Crops withered. Children fell ill. The river turned brown. The elders gathered, desperate for answers. But the gods were silent. The priestess warned them, something had broken the covenant between men and spirits. Then, during one sacred night, Muna sat still for hours. When he finally spoke, his voice shook the air. He saw betrayal. He saw greed buried in the hearts of men. He saw his father. He saw blood near a tree. And the gods said it was time. The festival of awakening arrived. The village square echoed with drums and laughter. But the gods were not there for celebration, they had chosen a witness. Muna stepped into the light. Grown now, guided by Ijeoma's steady hands, he stood before the people who had once mocked his very existence. They laughed at first. But when he opened his mouth, the wind stopped. He spoke of hidden sins. He named secrets buried in silence. He called out elders, chiefs, and finally, his own father. The one who let him be thrown away like dust. The one who chose pride over love. And suddenly, all was quiet. The sky turned gray. The fire in the shrine flickered high. And the gods answered. The people trembled. They had never seen such judgment from one who could not see. That day, the spirits restored their voice through Muna. Ijeoma, with tears in her eyes, anointed him before the crowd. The blind boy had become the vessel of the gods. The one who could see deeper than any man. And those who wronged him. Okeke and Kem were cast out, stripped of honor, cursed to wander the very forest they once used to betray. And so it was that Muna, once the child left to die, became the most powerful priest the land had ever known. He did not speak often. But when he did, the trees listened. The fire bent forward. And the gods smiled. For the eyes of the gods had found a new home. That night, the wind did not rest. The villagers knelt under the stars, whispering prayers they hadn't spoken in years. Some cried. Some covered their faces. Others simply stared at the boy, not because he could see, but because he had seen what they had hidden. For days, Muna remained silent. He sat at the shrine, facing the sacred fire, listening to the heartbeat of the gods. He no longer needed to speak, the silence around him said enough. The village slowly began to change. Those who once ignored the gods now swept the shrine with trembling hands. Elders humbled themselves before children. Men returned what they had stolen. Women prayed for forgiveness, not just blessings. But deep in the forest, where the light of the village could no longer reach, two shadows wandered. Okeke and Kem, once proud, once feared, now lived among the trees. They drank from muddy streams, hid from animals, and heard strange voices in the wind. At night, Okeke would wake in fear, hearing the sound of a crying child. Kem would run from rustling leaves that whispered her name. The forest did not forget. The gods did not forget. And neither did Muna. Yet he did not seek revenge. Instead, he built peace. He asked the villagers to feed the poor. He reopened the sacred river paths. He taught the children the songs of the spirits. He healed the sick not just with herbs, but with truth. And when the people asked him how a boy who was once nothing became everything, he would simply say, "I was never nothing. I was just unseen." Many years passed. The village grew stronger. The gods remained near. And when the priestess Ijeoma finally joined the ancestors, her spirit was said to have danced, knowing she had fulfilled her calling. As for Muna, he continued to serve, not for praise, but for purpose. They called him the eyes of the gods. But to him, he was just a boy who had been loved when no one else would. Lightbulb moral lesson. In life, it is not what people call you that defines your future, it is what the gods place within you. Even those the world throws away can become the voice that saves it. Never judge by what is missing. The blind may lead, the weak may rise, and love may come from unexpected places. Because the gods do not see as man sees.